The second I step through their front door, Sarah's smile dies like a candle in the wind. She doesn't say hello, just nods once and disappears into the kitchen, leaving me standing in the entryway like some unwelcome salesperson. "Mom, you made it!" David rushes over, but even his hug feels strained. 3 months. 3 months since Emma was born, and this is only my fourth visit, each one more painful than the last. I hang my coat on the hook, watching Sarah emerge with a bottle, her entire body angled away from me like I'm radioactive. The baby, my granddaughter, sleeps peacefully in her bouncy seat, tiny fists curled against her cheeks. She's grown so much since last week. How much am I missing between these awkward visits? "How's my beautiful girl?" I whisper, moving toward Emma. "She just ate," Sarah says quickly. "Probably shouldn't disturb her." Of course not. There's always a reason. She just ate. She's sleeping. She's fussy. She needs her routine. The excuses pile up like winter snow, cold, endless, and impossible to clear away. I settle into the armchair across the living room. The DMZ, I call it in my head. The neutral zone where I'm allowed to exist but not participate. From here, I can see Emma but not touch her. I can admire her but not hold her. I can love her from a distance while Sarah controls every interaction like a border guard. "Coffee?" David offers, already knowing my answer. "That would be lovely." Sarah shifts Emma to her other arm, despite the baby still sleeping soundly. Her message is clear. "This is my baby, my territory. You're just visiting." I watch my son disappear into the kitchen, shoulders tense. He's lost weight since Emma's birth, dark circles under his eyes. When he comes back, he sets my coffee on the side table and sits on the couch exactly halfway between his wife and his mother. Switzerland personified. "She's been sleeping better," he says, desperate to fill the silence. That's wonderful. I keep my voice steady, but inside I'm screaming. I wouldn't know how she's sleeping because I'm never here to see it. Sarah adjusts Emma again, turning even more away from me. If she twisted any further, she'd be facing the wall. "Remember when you were that small?" I ask David, trying to bridge the gap with shared history. His face softens. "Mom, you used to tell me I cried for the first 3 months straight. Colicky baby. Kept your father and me up all night." I laugh softly. "But we figured it out. Trial and error, mostly." Sarah's shoulders stiffen. Everything I say sounds like criticism to her, even fond memories. Even compliments get twisted into attacks on her parenting. "Every baby's different," she says coolly. Of course they are. I sip my coffee, bitter and too strong, like this entire relationship. The silence stretches between us like barbed wire. Emma stirs, making those little newborn sounds that melt your heart. Sarah immediately starts that swaying motion all mothers know by instinct. She might be hungry, I venture. "I just fed her." Sarah's voice could freeze hell. "Sometimes they cluster feed." I know what I'm doing. There at Island. The wall slams down again. "You had your turn. This isn't your baby. Back off." David clears his throat. "Mom, did you see the pictures I sent? From her doctor's appointment?" "Yes. She's growing beautifully." I smile at him, grateful for his efforts to include me. But even that feels like scraps thrown to a stray dog. Emma starts to fuss, tiny whimpers that make my arms ache to hold her. Sarah immediately stands, bouncing gently. "Shh, sweetheart, Mommy's here." Not Grammy. Never Grammy. Just Mommy. Like I don't exist. "Would you like me to?" I start to rise. "I've got her." Sarah doesn't even look at me. I sink back into my chair, hands folded in my lap like a good girl. This is my role now. The observer. The outsider pressing her nose against the glass of her own family. 20 minutes pass. Sarah tries everything bouncing, swaying, humming. Emma's cries escalate from whimpers to full-blown wails. The sound pierces through me like needles. Every instinct screams to help, but I don't move. Can't move. Not allowed. Maybe she needs changing, David suggests. I just changed her. Sarah's voice rises with the baby's cries. Emma's little face turns red, fists flailing. The crying reaches that inconsolable pitch every mother dreads. Sarah's confidence starts to crack like ice in spring. Come on, sweetheart. What do you need? Her voice wavers. I've seen this before. The helpless panic when nothing works and you're running out of ideas. The moment when even the most confident mother realizes she doesn't have all the answers. Sometimes walking helps, I offer quietly. Sarah shoots me a look but starts pacing, Emma still screaming. The sound fills the house, rattling windows and nerves. David runs his hands through his hair, looking between his wife and his mother like he's watching a tennis match. 5 more minutes. Emma's cries reach that desperate pitch that makes you want to cry yourself. Sarah's hands shake as she tries different positions, different sounds, different everything. She was fine a minute ago, Sarah whispers. And for the first time since I arrived, she sounds young, vulnerable, scared. I watch this woman who's built walls around my granddaughter, who's treated me like I carry some contagious disease, who's made every visit feel like I'm begging for scraps of my own family. And now she needs help. Emma's cries fill the space between us, and I see something crack in Sarah's armor. Her hands are trembling, her confidence is crumbling. She looks at me, really looks at me, and I see it. Fear. Raw, honest, maternal terror that maybe, just maybe, she doesn't know everything about being a mother after all. Emma's screams reach that pitch that makes your teeth ache. Sarah bounces her frantically, sweat beading on her forehead despite the cool October air drifting through the windows. Shh, baby girl, please. Sarah's voice cracks like thin ice. I sit frozen in my DMZ chair, every fiber of my being wanting to reach out, but knowing better. The last 3 months have taught me my place. Stay back. Don't interfere. Don't make suggestions. Don't even breathe too loudly. But then it happens. Emma's tiny fist breaks free from her yellow swaddle blanket like a prisoner escaping. Her little hand pushes through the cotton barrier, fingers opening and closing in that ancient infant gesture that every grandmother recognizes. She's reaching, not randomly flailing reaching, toward me. Oh my God, David whispers. Sarah stops bouncing. We all see it. Emma's entire body strains in my direction, that desperate baby reaching that says you. I want you clearer than words ever could. Her cries shift from panic to something else longing. Sarah stares at Emma's outstretched hand. She's never done that before. The baby's fingers open and close, her whole arm stretching toward me like she's trying to swim through the air. Her eyes, those deep blue newborn eyes that see more than we think, lock onto mine. Maybe I should. I start to stand. Number. Sarah's voice is sharp, but there's uncertainty now. Emma's reaching becomes more insistent, her little body arching away from Sarah's chest, toward mine. The crying intensifies, but it's different now. Not the random wailing of a fussy baby, but the specific, purposeful cry that says, I know what I want and you're not giving it to me. Sarah. David's voice is gentle but firm. Look at her. Emma's hand opens wider, fingers splayed like a tiny starfish. She's fighting against the swaddle now, both arms working to break free. Her cry becomes a demand. This is crazy, Sarah mutters, but I see the exact moment her armor cracks. When your baby is inconsolable, and anyone might have the answer, pride becomes a luxury you can't afford. Please, I say quietly, just for a minute. Sarah's face goes through a dozen emotions. Fear, anger, desperation, defeat. Emma's cries fill the silence, and that little hand keeps reaching. Fine. The word comes out like a gunshot. but just until she calms down. She moves toward me like she's walking to her own execution. Emma's cries immediately soften as we get closer, as if she knows rescue is coming. Support her head, Sarah says unnecessarily. I've held more babies than she's had hot dinners, but I don't say that. Instead, I cradle Emma against my chest, feeling her tiny weight settle into my arms like she was always meant to be there. The crying stops. Not gradually, not slowly, just stops, like someone flipped a switch. Emma looks up at me with those serious newborn eyes, her breathing evening out, her little fist curling around my finger with surprising strength. The silence is deafening after 20 minutes of screaming. How did you? Sarah's voice trails off. I don't answer. I'm too busy falling in love all over again. Emma's perfect little nose, the way her eyebrows furrow like she's solving the mysteries of the universe, the soft baby scent that makes every woman's ovaries weep with joy. She knows you, David says, wonder in his voice. Of course she knows me. I want to say it, but Sarah's face has gone from shocked to something darker, something that looks like betrayal. I rock gently, that automatic motion coded into every mother's DNA. Emma's eyes flutter closed, her breathing deep and peaceful. She's completely relaxed, molded against me like we've done this dance 1,000 times before. I don't understand, Sarah whispers. She doesn't, usually. Babies know, I say softly, still rocking. They know they're people. It's the wrong thing to say. Sarah's face closes like a slammed door. She's tired, Sarah says quickly. That's all. She was overtired. But we all know that's not true. Emma wasn't tired, she was specific. She wanted me, and she knew how to ask for me in the only way she could. I continue rocking, savoring every second. Emma's tiny fingers wrapped around mine, her warm weight against my chest, the way she fits perfectly in my arms like she was made for them. This is what I've been missing. This connection, this bond, this recognition that I'm not just some stranger in her living room. I'm Grammy, and she knows it. I should put her down, Sarah says, reaching for Emma. She's settling, I murmur. Maybe just a few more minutes? Sarah's hands drop, but her expression grows darker. She backs toward the kitchen, her eyes never leaving Emma's peaceful face in my arms. I need water, she mutters. David sits on the couch, watching his mother and daughter with something like awe. Mom, that was incredible. She's never stopped crying that fast for anyone. I smile down at Emma, whose eyes are now completely closed. Her breathing is so regular, so peaceful, like she's exactly where she belongs. From the kitchen comes the soft beep of a phone being unlocked. Sarah's voice, low and urgent. I strain to listen while pretending to focus on Emma. I don't know what's happening. Sarah's whisper carries just enough. Never seen her do that before. It's like she's doing something to her. My blood turns to ice. She's doing something to her. Emma sleeps peacefully in my arms, completely innocent, completely trusting. But in the kitchen, my daughter-in-law is building a case against me, one whispered word at a time. Sarah storms back into the living room like a woman possessed, her phone clutched in her white-knuckled grip, her eyes blazing with something between fury and hysteria. What did you do to her? The words hit me like a slap. Emma stirs in my arms, sensing the tension even in sleep. I'm sorry? I keep my voice calm, but my heart starts hammering. Don't play dumb with me, Sarah's voice cracks with accusation. Babies don't just do that. Reach for strangers like that. I'm not a stranger. I'm her grandmother. You're practically a stranger. The words explode out of her. You've seen her 4 times in 3 months. 4 times. And suddenly she's reaching for you like you're her favorite person? David appears in the doorway, still holding his coffee cup like a shield. Sarah, what's going on? Ask your mother what she's been doing to condition our daughter. Condition. The word hangs in the air like poison gas. Condition her? My voice rises despite my efforts. Are you out of your mind? Am I? Then explain it. Sarah points at Emma, sleeping peacefully in my arms. Explain how a 3-month-old baby who barely knows you suddenly can't live without you. Because she's my granddaughter. The words burst out of me, louder than I intended. Emma's eyes flutter open, startled. Because blood recognizes blood. Because family recognizes family. That's not how babies work. Sarah's face is red now, ugly with rage. They don't have some magical grandmother radar. You did something. Used some scent, some trick, some what? Grandmother witchcraft? I stand up, Emma secure in my arms. Listen to yourself. David sets his cup down hard. Both of you need to stop. You're scaring Emma. But Sarah's past reason now. 3 months of resentment come pouring out like a burst dam. You've been planning this, haven't you? Trying to turn her against me. Making me look like the bad mother who can't calm her own baby while Grandma swoops in to save the day. That's insane! I clutch Emma closer. You think I wanted her to cry? You think I enjoyed watching you struggle? Yes, Sarah's voice breaks. Yes, I do. Because the second she calms down with you, I look like a failure. The truth hangs there between us, raw and bleeding. This isn't about conditioning or tricks or grandmother magic. This is about Sarah's fear that she's not enough, that someone else might be better at mothering her own child. Sarah, I say more gently, that's not what happened, isn't it? Then tell me what you did. What's your secret? What perfume are you wearing? What did you put on your hands? I stare at her. She's serious. She actually believes I've been manipulating my granddaughter with some kind of grandmother conspiracy. I didn't do anything except hold her. Liar! David steps between us, hands raised like he's trying to stop traffic. Okay. Everyone needs to take a breath. No! Sarah whirls on him. No more taking breaths. No more being reasonable. Your mother has been playing games with our daughter, and I want to know what she's hiding. Emma starts to fuss, picking up on the shouting. I automatically start rocking, and she settles. Sarah's eyes narrow like this, proves her point. See? There. What did you just do? I rocked her. How? Show me exactly how you're rocking her. This is madness. Pure madness. But I demonstrate the gentle sway, the same motion mothers have used for millennia. That's not the same, Sarah insists, though it obviously island. You're doing something different. David runs his hands through his hair. Sarah, you're being... Don't you dare say I'm being paranoid. She spins to face him. Your mother shows up 4 times in 3 months, barely touches Emma, acts like some wounded martyr, and suddenly she's the baby whisperer? That doesn't strike you as suspicious? It strikes me as Emma recognizing her grandmother. Babies don't work that way, David. They don't have some genetic GPS system. I'm shaking now, with anger and heartbreak in equal measure. How dare you? How dare you suggest I would manipulate an innocent baby? Then explain it. Sarah's pointing again. That accusing finger like a weapon. Explain how you did it. I loved her. The words rip out of me like they're taking pieces of my heart with them. I loved her from the moment I knew she existed. I've been dreaming about holding her, rocking her, being her grandmother for months. Maybe, just maybe, she felt that. Sarah's laugh is bitter and sharp. Oh, please. Love doesn't work through walls, lady. Love doesn't travel through your precious visits where you sit across the room like some tragic figure. Because you won't let me near her. Because something's wrong with this picture. Sarah snatches Emma from my arms, so suddenly the baby startles awake and begins crying again. This whole thing is wrong. I reach for Emma instinctively, and Sarah backs toward the door. Number. Absolutely not. You don't get to touch her again until you tell me the truth. I did tell you the truth. The real truth. Sarah's voice rises over Emma's cries. What you're hiding! What your game is! David steps forward. Sarah, give me the baby. No, I'm done with this. She clutches Emma against her chest, bouncing frantically as the baby's cries intensify. She doesn't come back! Not until she admits what she's been doing! Sarah David tries again. I mean it. Your mother is not welcome in this house until she tells the truth. She turns toward the hallway, Emma's cries echoing off the walls. That's when I see it. A small, dark mark on Emma's tiny arm, right where Sarah's thumb is pressed against her skin. A bruise, fresh, purple-blue, the size of an adult fingertip. My blood turns to ice water in my veins. Sarah? My voice comes out deadly quiet. Let me see her arm. What? Emma's arm. Let me see it. Sarah shifts Emma higher, hiding the spot. Why? But I've already seen enough. The careful way Sarah positions her hand, the guilty flush creeping up her neck, the way Emma's cries have that desperate edge that speaks of more than hunger or tiredness. Put her down, Sarah. Get out. Sarah's backing toward the stairs now. Get out of my house. The bruise burns in my vision like an afterimage. Small, fresh, hidden. And suddenly, everything makes terrible, perfect sense. I sit alone in my living room as darkness swallows the house. The silence feels different now, not peaceful, but suffocating. Like the quiet after a bomb goes off. That bruise, purple-blue against Emma's perfect skin, the size of a thumb. My hands shake as I pour myself a whiskey I don't want and won't drink. The ice clinks against the glass like tiny wind chimes, the only sound in this tomb of a house where I'm replaying every moment, every sign I missed. Emma's desperate reaching. Not random baby movements, a plea for rescue. Oh, God. I whisper to the empty room. Oh, God. Oh, God. The pieces fall into place with sickening clarity. Sarah's overprotectiveness wasn't maternal devotion, it was control. Keeping Emma away from anyone who might see, might notice, might ask questions. Those dark circles under David's eyes weren't just new parent exhaustion. They were the haunted look of a man who suspects something terrible but can't bring himself to name it. And Emma. Sweet, innocent Emma, reaching for me because somehow, even at 3 months old, she knew. She knew I was safe. She knew I wouldn't hurt her. I stumble to the mantel where Emma's photo sits in a silver frame, the only one Sarah allowed me to take. Emma's serious little face stares back at me, those blue eyes that saw too much, too soon. My phone sits on the coffee table like a loaded weapon. One call. That's all it would take. One call to Child Protective Services, and the nightmare begins for everyone. Investigations, questions, family destroyed. David forced to choose between his wife and his daughter. But Emma, I pick up my phone with trembling hands. The screen glows in the darkness, showing David's contact photo, my son's smiling face from last Christmas, before Emma was born, when we were still a family. What if I'm wrong? What if it really was an accident, a grip too tight during a stressful moment? What if Sarah's just overwhelmed, not abusive, but the bruise was fresh and hidden, and Emma's reaching, that desperate, specific reaching, wasn't for me. It was away from Sarah. I scroll to the keypad, my finger hovering over the numbers. 211. The helpline. They'll know what to do, how to handle this without destroying everyone in the process. Maybe. The cursor blinks at me like a heartbeat. Guilty until proven innocent. That's what this call means. The moment I dial these numbers, Sarah becomes a suspect. David becomes complicit. Emma becomes a case number. But staying silent, I close my eyes and see Emma's tiny fist pushing through the swaddle, reaching, pleading, trusting me to understand what she couldn't say. Save me, Grammy, please, save me. My finger touches the first number. 2. The weight of it hits me like a physical blow. This isn't just a phone call, it's the end of everything. The end of family dinners and birthday parties and Christmas mornings. The end of any relationship with David. The end of being a grandmother in any way that matters. But Emma matters more. I dial the second number. 1. The screen blurs through my tears. Somewhere across town, my granddaughter is in a house where she's not safe. Where her own mother. I can't finish the thought. Can't let myself imagine what a woman desperate enough to leave bruises might do when no one's watching. My finger hovers over the final one. This is it. The moment that divides my life into before and after. Before I knew. Before I acted. Before I chose Emma's safety over my own comfort. The phone trembles in my hands like a live thing. One more number. Just one. I think about David, my sweet boy who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms, who brought me dandelions and called them flowers, who's about to discover his wife is. Number I can't think about David right now. Can't think about what this will do to him. Can only think about Emma, reaching through that blanket with desperate trust. You have to save me, Grammy. You're the only one who sees. My finger starts to descend toward the final number. A car door slams outside. I freeze, phone in hand, finger still poised over the keypad. Through my front window, I see headlights sweeping across my driveway. The engine shuts off with a mechanical sigh. They're here, David and Sarah, at 10:30 at night. My blood turns to slush. Another car door slams, and then I hear it Sarah's voice, high and wild, carrying across the cold night air. Not going back in there. I don't care what you say. David's voice, lower, trying to calm her. Sarah, please, we need to... No! She knows something. Did you see her face? She knows! My legs give out. I sink into the chair, phone still glowing in my lap. That final digit still waiting to be dialed. They know I saw the bruise. She's going to call someone, David. She's going to ruin everything. Sarah, you're being... Don't! Her scream cuts through the night like broken glass. Don't you dare tell me I'm being paranoid. Not when she's sitting in there right now, probably on the phone with... The voices get closer. Footsteps on my front walk. I can hear Emma crying in the distance, that same desperate wail from this afternoon. My finger still hovers over the one. One tiny movement and help is on the way. But they're at my door now. Sarah's fist pounds against the wood like gunshots. I know you're in there. I know what you're thinking. The phone screen dims, then goes black in my lap. Emma's cries get louder. And Sarah keeps pounding. My front door explodes inward like Sarah's kicked it down. She storms in, clutching Emma, my son trailing behind her like a man walking to his execution. I know what you're doing. Sarah's face is wild, streaked with tears and rage. Sitting in here plotting against us. Emma's screaming that same desperate cry from this afternoon. But worse now. Hoarse. Raw. Like she's been crying for hours. Sarah, please. David tries to grab her arm. She shakes him off. No! Look at her! She gestures at me with her free hand while bouncing Emma frantically. Look at that guilty face! She knows exactly what I'm talking about. I stand slowly, my phone sliding off my lap onto the floor. The screen flickers back to life, those numbers still waiting. 21_. Give me my granddaughter, I say quietly. Like hell. Emma's cries intensify, and I see it again the way Sarah's grip tightens when she's agitated, the way her fingers press into Emma's tiny body. The baby arches away from her mother, little arms flailing. Sarah, David's voice breaks. Please, just look at how you're holding her. I'm holding her fine. But she's not. We can all see she's not. Emma's face is red and desperate, her cries the kind that tear your heart in half. And Sarah's hands. Sarah's hands are gripping too tight, pressing too hard, leaving marks on delicate skin. Let me take her for a minute. David reaches out. No! Everyone wants to take her from me. First your mother, now you. She's my baby. Emma's reaching again, those tiny fists pushing through the chaos, stretching toward me with the same desperate urgency as before. But this time it's different. This time she's not just fussy, she's terrified. Oh, sweetheart. I breathe. Emma hears my voice, and her reaching becomes frantic. Her whole body strains toward me, crying with such heartbreak that even David steps forward. Mom, he whispers, and I hear it the recognition. The horrible, dawning recognition of what he's been seeing but couldn't let himself believe. Sarah sees it too. Sees the moment her husband's eyes open to the truth. Don't you dare! She backs toward the door, clutching Emma tighter. Don't you dare look at me like that. Sarah, you're hurting her. David's voice is barely audible. I am not hurting her. I'm her mother. I would never. But even as she says it, Emma's cries reach that pitch that makes windows vibrate and hearts break. Give her to me. I take a step forward. Stay back. Emma's reaching is desperate now, both arms free of the blanket, her entire body arching away from Sarah and toward me. Toward safety. Toward someone whose hands don't leave bruises. Please, I whisper. Just let me. You did this! Sarah's scream drowns out Emma's cries. You turned her against me somehow. You made her think I'm... She can't finish the sentence. Can't say the words. But we all know them. David moves closer. Sarah, honey, look what you're doing to her. Emma's face is purple now, her cries so desperate they're barely making sound. And Sarah's grip, God, Sarah's grip is getting tighter with every second. I'm a good mother, Sarah sobs. I'm a good mother. I feed her and change her and I never sleep and I do everything right and she still cries. I finish gently. Because babies cry, Sarah. It's not your fault. Yes, it is. The words tear out of her. Everything is my fault. She won't eat right, won't sleep right, won't stop crying, and everyone keeps judging me and telling me what to do wrong, and... Emma goes limp in her arms. The sudden silence is deafening. Emma? David's voice cracks like thin ice. I don't think. Don't hesitate. I cross the room in 3 strides and take Emma from Sarah's arms. She doesn't resist, she's staring at her daughter's still form in horror. Emma's eyes are closed, her little body exhausted from crying. But she's breathing. Thank God, she's breathing. I cradle her against my chest, and even unconscious, she settles into my arms. Her tiny fist curls around my finger with instinctive trust. Is she? Sarah reaches toward Emma, then stops. Her hands are shaking. She's exhausted. I rock gently, feeling Emma's breathing steady. She's just exhausted. David stares at his wife like he's seeing a stranger. Sarah, what have you been doing? I haven't been doing anything. But her voice lacks conviction now. She cries so much, and I get frustrated, and sometimes I hold her too tight, but I never meant I would never. She looks at her own hands like they belong to someone else. The bruises, Sarah. My voice is steady, but my heart is breaking. The bruises on her arm. That was an accident. I swear to God, that was an accident. How many accidents? David's voice is hollow. Sarah opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. No words come. Emma stirs in my arms, making that soft baby sound that means she's fighting toward consciousness. Her eyes flutter open, find my face, and for the first time today, she doesn't cry. She just looks at me with those serious blue eyes that have seen too much. Hey there, little one, I whisper. Grammy's here. My phone buzzes on the floor where it fell. The screen lights up, showing those numbers I never finished dialing. 21 _. I look at my son, my beautiful boy who's watching his world crumble. I look at Sarah, sobbing into her hands, finally understanding what her frustration and exhaustion have led to. I look at Emma, safe in my arms but bearing invisible scars that will take years to heal. The choice isn't hard anymore. I pick up my phone with one hand while holding Emma with the other. My finger finds that final one and presses it without hesitation. The call connects immediately. Crisis helpline. This is Maria. I need to report suspected child abuse, I say quietly. Sarah's sobs turn to screams. David sinks into my couch like his legs won't hold him anymore. Emma blinks up at me, unaware that I've just blown up her entire world to save her life. Ma'am, can you give me the details? I tell them everything. The bruises, the crying, the desperate reaching. The way Emma's own mother's touch makes her arch away in fear. Through the window, I see the first flash of red and blue lights. They're coming, little one, I whisper to Emma as Sarah collapses into David's arms, finally admitting what we all knew. Help is coming. Emma's tiny hand tightens around my finger, and I make the promise every grandmother should be able to make, but so few get to keep. You're safe now, little one. Grammy's got you. The sirens get louder, and I hold my granddaughter close, knowing that sometimes love means making the choice that destroys everything except the one thing that matters most.